Now I'm joined now by the Labour MP Rushanara Ali and by Michael Avenatti. He's the lawyer representing Stormy Daniels, adult film actress who claims she had a consensual affair with President Donald Trump. Well now, Rushanara, I mean, this is our ally. We've all learned to love America throughout our lives. Have we got to change our minds?
Not at all. We love America, we love Americans, they are our allies, but we don't approve or like what Donald Trump stands for. He's presided over expressing hatred towards women, towards Muslims, towards minorities, and he's locking up innocent children in cages. Those are not the values we stand for, and it's right that people are here to stand against what he stands for, but we share values with American values, and we will always have a special relationship with Americans.
Well now, Mr. Avenatti, you are an American,
yes,
as I've mentioned. You've come over here effectively to protest.
Well, that's correct. I've come over to send a message to our allies here in the UK and elsewhere in the world that they are not alone in their disdain for this president. This president is an embarrassment to the United States. He is interjecting instability into the world and instability into these alliances, and it's a very, very dangerous situation. There are millions of Americans, John, that feel just like I feel. They are ashamed of the conduct of this president, and we want to send a message that our allies are not alone in their concern.
So what's the strategy with this case you're bringing for Stormy Daniels? I mean, it's just to embarrass him?
No, not at all. It's to get to the bottom of it and to get to the truth. There's been a cover up here relating to this $130,000 payment. It doesn't have anything to do with the sex and who slept with who. It's all about truth and the American people finding out the truth and being entitled to the truth. But in the meantime, this president is playing a very dangerous game day in and day out. He's very unpredictable, and for 100 years, America has been seen as a shining light, a stable force in the world, and that's changing, and it's disturbing.
Well now, I mean, one of the things one finds oneself asking is, what about the trigger words that he uses in his speeches? It's all very well saying we're outraged and all the rest of it, but the fact is, the populism that he peddles, simply saying the word immigration raises a cheer amongst those people in the population who can be led by this sort of material.
Well look, we have to stand up for the values that we believe in, and I think it's disgraceful that our Prime Minister has rolled out the red carpet and found a way through the back door to have the monarch having to meet this man who stands for hatred, stands for things that we don't believe in our democracy. And frankly, the American president is not just the American president, he has an important role of leadership around the world. And that's why it's right that we should stand against it. And of course,
but he was elected.
in the rise,
he was elected.
Yes, but in a democracy, people have the right to protest against elected representatives. And because he's a narcissist, he doesn't like that. He's hypersensitive and starts to go on the offensive. And frankly, our Prime Minister has seen this all blow up in her face, because what has he done? He's humiliated her. He's stood next to her and said Boris Johnson would make a better Prime Minister.
But Michael Avenatti, the fact is a lot of Americans love him. They love to hear his talk. They like his crude language. They're fed up with the elite. They're fed up with lawyers. They're fed up with politicians. And they've suffered over the last few years, and they're thrilled with Donald Trump.
Well, Donald Trump is a very effective con man, and he conned a lot of Americans into believing something that just wasn't true. And that was, he conned a lot of white Americans, frankly, into believing that their continued success depended on the trampling of rights of women, Muslims, immigrants, and people from our southern border, outside of our southern border. And that's just not true. And I believe that in time, and we've already seen a progression, more and more Americans are going to come to the conclusion that they've been conned, and they will come to know that this is not the person that should represent the United States of America.
Rushanara, let's just cut to the quick. Should he have been invited?
He shouldn't have been invited. Certainly not for a state visit, certainly not for this
but he's our ally. We've got lots of his troops here.
I think it should have been an official visit. Theresa May met him in Brussels. She could have done business with him there. It didn't have to be organised in this way, where basically she hasn't honoured the wishes of the British people not to, lay out the red carpet, engage the monarchy in this, and humiliate herself, but also the whole country.
Very briefly, how will this go down in America?
How will this go down? I think it's going to get a lot of attention, and I think people in America are going to realize how dangerous this situation is. And here's the bottom line. If you want to be president of the United States, you need to act presidential.
Michael Rushanara Ali, thank you very much indeed for coming. Well, this